What's up, folks? I'm Dwayne,
I'm Alicia.
and this is Blackboard Gaming, where we teach you about all these great board games that are out there.
Waiting to be played by you and yours.
I'm a simple man, don't wanna complicate ya, complicate ya.
Hey, everybody! So today, we're going to share with you guys some of our favorite games that we've been playing over the past few weeks. Of course, mostly in the month of August. We had Gen Con, and then we were getting, we were hosting a family reunion, so we were getting ready for that. And it's just been a real hectic, but we've been getting some games played. So we're going to talk to you about, give us our top 10 favorite games. She's going to give you 5, and I'm going to give you 5. So it might be some crossover. I think it will be.
I think so, too.
I'm pretty sure I know. Did you rank your games?
Kind of, sort of. Not as definitively as you.
I ranked my game. I did rank my games. I have to say so. I did so.
Okay.
All right. So without further ado, let's get to it.
Okay.
And of course, as always, ladies first.
All
right.
So the first game I'm going to talk about is a simple card game called No Thanks. Now, No Thanks is what I love about No Thanks. I'm going to be honest. So, No Thanks is a very simple game. It's a deck of cards with numbers from 1 to 35, and you're passing around the cards, and...
No, we're not passing them around.
I'm sorry. You're deciding, as a card is placed in front of you, you're deciding whether you want to keep it or not. Honestly, this game has a lot of player interaction, and for me, that's what makes it a fun game.
This game has been out. And I've heard people talk about it. And we finally got to play it at Gen Con. So it was totally new to us. And it's a deck of cards, and we reveal a card, and the active player decides whether they're gonna take that card and place it in front of them, or they're gonna pass on it. If they pass on it, there's these little tokens that are used as currency in the game. And you have to give up one of your tokens for that. And then a player may decide to take that card, and they will get all the tokens with it. The thing about the tokens is they're worth negative points at the end of the game. Now, why would you want to take the tokens? Well, how you win the game, you have to have the lowest score. And you will score whatever numbers on your cards. And then -1 for each token. So you're trying to get the lowest score. Now, the cool part about this game, let's say, like she said, they're number 1 to 35. And if you have a 35 and a 33, then and that's all you have, your final score will be 68, which is not really good. But if you come across that 34, then you get to place that 34 on top of the 35 and the 33 on top of that. So in descending order. So now your final score will be 33 if that's all you had. And it's really, really cool.
It is a game that elicits a lot of laughs. It truly...
Yes.
Player interaction games aren't always my favorite, but for me, I don't know. It was just a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
And I really enjoyed it.
Now, with that said, that was my number 5. I ranked mine.
Okay.
So that was my 5. And No Thanks, I was like, as soon as we got back, I immediately sought that game and bought it. I said, I want this in our repertoire.
Yeah.
So this would be a fun game. It's really easy to learn, and you will have a lot of fun playing this game.
Yes.
All right, so that's my number 5. So,
right.
Oh well. So what's your next one?
All right. So my next game is Sky Team. Now, I really enjoy Sky Team. I love it's the opposite of player interaction. cooperative, but you don't get to do all that talking that you get to do in other games. But I love the challenge of landing that plane safely, getting all your ducks lined up, making sure the flaps are engaged, making sure you put the brakes on, the speed is right, the tilt is right, all of that, but you can't really talk to each other.
It's funny hearing you describe a game.
So it's a lot of fun. I love the cooperative aspect of it. I love the challenge of the different conditions, and it's an engaging, get it in where you can fit it in, but a lot of fun game.
All right. You might hear about this later on in my, like I said, I ranked mine, you know. All right. My number 4 game is a game that was sent to us for review by Stonemeyer Games.
Okay.
And that is Expeditions.
Okay.
You saw me playing.
All right.
And I've only played it, I played it solo twice, and I'm supposed to play this with my board game group this coming Friday. So I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
But in Expeditions is like the sequel to Scythe.
Okay.
And Scythe is one of the big games. When I first got into this hobby, that was one of my first big games.
Okay.
And I love the art. The art in the world is like a alternate universe in Siberia, and the art is beautiful, you know, and the mechanics. But the thing was, with Scythe, they had this area control aspect, and that was one of the ways to win. And that was probably like my least favorite part of this game. In Expeditions, that's not in there.
Okay.
You know, it's more like you're just moving your mech. In this game, you have like 3 actions. You move, you play, and then you gather. And you have a mech. Okay. And the thing is, every turn, you move this cube to cover up one of those actions. And then you do one of the actions. You might move and gather, or you might play and move, or something like that. And I really enjoyed it. And it's just, I just like being engrossed in that world.
Okay.
You know, I like the imagination it took to create this alternate reality.
Okay.
You know, I don't know if you would get into it.
It doesn't sound like me.
But I really loved it.
Okay.
So that's Expeditions.
Okay.
All right, what's your next one?
Okay. So my next one is Splendor Duel. Now, I love Splendor. I'm going to say that Splendor might be if I were to make a list of my favorite games, Splendor might be in that list. Okay. But Splendor Duel delivers everything I love, but it's a lot more. Player interaction, and I like that. I like player interaction, but I prefer it with less players.
Yeah, Splendor Duel is a 2-player game, you know, and it's really, really good.
I really enjoy it. I like that. I love the mechanics, all the things I love about Splendor, the set collection, the action.
The stealing gems from other players.
But I love that there's more than one way to win. I really like that part too.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, stole my gem. I'm holding it against you.
I stole one gem. I didn't steal it. It was part of the game. I took it.
Was it yours before you took your turn?
That was the rule.
Was it yours after you took your turn?
Yes.
Whose was it before you took your turn?
Yours.
You stole it.
That's all I hear is sore loser.
All right, Splendor Duel. I enjoyed it. It's not on my list.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So, my number 3.
All right.
Is Barcelona. Barcelona. Picked it up at we picked it up at Gen Con.
Okay, so I didn't get a chance to play.
No, you haven't played it.
Okay.
I played it. So I played at my board game Friday night board game group. It was Brian's choice, my guy, and he brought Barcelona.
Okay.
He had a copy, and of course I have my copy. And Barcelona is beautiful.
Okay.
I mean, I love board and dice games.
Okay.
I mean, I like, what was that I just was learning? Terracotta Army, which I finally got a chance. It was on my shelf of shame. I said, I want to learn this game and play it. So we got plans to play that.
Okay.
But Barcelona is beautiful. The colors, all that, you would love it.
Okay.
And in Barcelona, we are trying to build up a certain part of Barcelona, and we have these the lower class, the middle class, and the upper class. And we start off with 2 of those tokens. And and we are sending those people out onto the board, and we're building up buildings, we're building up streets, we're building up the train system and all that, and raising our, I think it's a reputation. I don't remember what it's called, but it's just, I only played it once, but I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I picked that game up.
Okay. All right.
So Barcelona, yeah, that's my number 3.
Okay.
All right. So what's your next one?
Okay. So my next one is Trailblazers, the John Muir Trail. Now, as you can tell, he likes much heavier games than I do. And John Muir is probably, at the end of what I like in heaviness. So it's not a light game, but it's not too heavy for me. So I like John Muir. It's a nature-themed game. You're hiking. You're seeing all of these beautiful sights. So I like the cards that show some of the sights. You get to go visit the mountains, and of course, those cards are beautiful.
The vistas.
Yeah, so it's a lot of action selection, which is a mechanic I really enjoy.
Worker placement.
Well, to me, worker placement and action selection are kind of the same thing. But okay.
Oh, you have so much to learn, young Padawan.
So there's resource management, which is always challenging and enjoyable. But I really enjoy John Muir Trail. There's a lot to see. There's a lot to do. It's engaging. And again, it's not a heavy game for those of you serious gamers, but it's heavy enough for me.
Well, I mean, woodcraft was heavy, just so you know. But anyway, crossover. Second crossover.
What?
John Muir Trailblazers, John Muir
wow.
Trail.
Okay.
That's my second favorite that we played. And now I have not played it solo, but I have played it 2-player with you, and I played it 3-player with Deb, you and Deb, and then I played it 4-player with Aisha at Opal Groves and Ryan and Emily. And each time I really, really enjoyed it. Ryan crushed us. But I mean, Trailblazers is like a more complex parks. And I love it because you got these little boot tokens. Those are your workers. You sending them out to visit the vistas, collect resources, stuff like do the collection of fauna and flora and all that. But you also have to hike the trail. And that's the one cool thing about it, because the game is all about hiking, and you have to hike the trail.
Yes.
The game lasts 12 rounds, and the hiking trail is 10 spots.
You have to do 10 of them.
Yeah, so, and if you have not gotten to the end of the trail by the end of the game, no matter how many points you got, you lose. Period.
One other thing I do like about John Muir Trail, the components are so adorable to me. The boots, the little tools that you put in your backpack.
Yeah, and that's another thing. You have to fill your backpack.
Yes.
There's patches, and your backpack there's 12 patches and you're trying to fill your backpack.
I love those
you know?
patches.
So yeah, and the cool thing about it is I watched a Twitch stream with Ruel Gaviola, and they were giving away the neoprene player mat, and I won. And I was like, I got the neoprene player mat, and now I'm so engrossed in this game. And the game, Andrew Bosley art, as you know, that's my favorite artist. I mean, we need to move forward. We've been gushing on this game. You know, this game might be my favorite of the year already, but you know. All right. So, what's your last one?
Alrighty. This one was a surprise for me. Comic Hunters.
Wait a minute. We played that September. Yeah, okay. I'll give you that one. September. We were trying to stay in August. We played that September 1st. All right.
All right. So, Comic Hunters is about set collection. And honestly, I think one of the reasons that I like theme games is, first of all, I love stories. And, you know, themes are story-based. But I also think another reason why I like games that are thematic is because it helps me understand the game better. Basically, you're collecting comics. And of course, when you are a collector of anything, you want to get those things that are more valuable. And there are different things that make certain comics more valuable than others. So the artwork is amazing. If you like comic book art, this game will appeal to you. But we actually are you know, you go to the you auction.
You go on the auction,
you go
and there's a different way to get those cards there, and then you're trading.
Yes.
And I mean, you're going to the comic book store, and each of those segments of the game
give you
different ways to collect those comics.
And so because of that framework, I think I caught on pretty quickly on what we're doing and why we're doing it, because you're simulating being a comic collector.
And that's why you thought it was thematic.
Yes.
Because of those different ways.
Yes.
It wasn't just... And then the cool part about it is once you get those certain comics, then there's a part where you have to decide which ones to keep and which ones to... Because you have to buy them. And so you have to spend some of the comics in order to keep some of the comics. So that's the big challenge, because you're like, man, I got this Avengers 368. If I want to get it, I got to give up this Spider-Man 24, you know?
Yes, but I really enjoyed that game. It was a lot of fun. It wasn't just a simple entry-level game, I guess, but it wasn't so hard that I couldn't catch on and play it with some thought and strategy. So I really enjoyed it.
I think you really liked it because we got to play with Evan and Missy. Because it was their game, you know.
That's always a plus. That's always a plus. Enjoying playing it with someone who you enjoy.
Yeah, that you enjoy playing games with. Yeah, that's always a plus.
Yes.
All right, we got to my number one. My number one is a crossover. And my favorite game of August is Sky Team. I love Sky Team. We finally tried a couple other scenarios where we had the plane had to be tilted at certain areas, and I was like, oh, I love the challenge of this game. I'm scared to get into the more difficult ones, but I'm gonna do it. You know, we're gonna do it together. You know, and so far I have introduced this game to Aisha Opal Grove. I've introduced it to our niece Jennifer and my grandson Elijah, and I also introduced it to a couple guys that be board gaming of Eternal Games. I said, hey, let's try this out, and I just watched them do it, and we introduced it to that really nice family at Grand Con.
Yeah,
I have been just championing this because it's just so challenging, and just to see the facial expressions, because like you're not supposed to talk, but just to see a facial expression when somebody plays a dice and they're like,
and their opponent doesn't like that they did it,
but they can't really say anything. Yeah, so Sky Team, that's probably my favorite.
Okay.
Of this, of the month. I do have one honorable mention.
You always got to
It's
sneak
just
in
one.
the extra game.
It's one. It's a
Okay.
solo game.
Okay.
And I think you will agree because you said that So the game is called For Northwood. It is a solo trick-taking game.
Okay.
And the art is really like whimsical, like really cute or whatever.
Yeah, it really
and
is.
it's like when I first heard about it, I heard about it through Second Star to the Left, Michelle. And she, when she talked about it, I was like, a solo trick-taking game? Wow, I want to check this out. So I checked it out and I backed it and I've gotten it and I was playing it on the table. And my wife was messing with me because, I get into it. Because the whole thing about the game is you're trying to negotiate thematically. You're negotiating with these different kings and queens and each of their fiefs or kingdoms. And there's a number to each of those fiefs. And so, like, let's say you go to the king and the number of that fief is 6. You get dealt 8 cards. And then you decide, let's say I decided to go talk to that king. So that means with that number, I have to win exactly 6 tricks. I cannot win 7. I cannot win 5. I have to win exactly 6. And then if you win exactly 6 tricks, then you get to say, For Northwood. And then,
So he said it every single
time. I loved it. So that's my honorable mention.
Okay.
All right. So you don't have any honorable mention?
No, I don't.
Okay. You're boring. So that is our, our favorite games that we have played recently. So now, before moving forward, it's something that we want to share with you. You'll probably notice that we have these shirts on. So if you're here just for the games, fine, we're letting you know. But this is something that is important to us to talk about. Or really, my wife's going to talk about it. So we're going to get right into that right now.
The month of September is Sickle Cell Awareness Month. As you know, we got into this board gaming hobby when we became empty nesters. We didn't become empty nesters the usual way, when our youngest child went off to college or got married or got their own apartment. We became empty nesters when our son, Christopher, lost his battle with sickle cell anemia. Sickle cell anemia is a chronic, life-threatening blood disease that you're born with. You were born with it, so you're born with it. And it affects about 90,000 people in the United States of America. And if it affects an individual, it also affects their family. The Sickle Cell Disease Association supports research, does research, supports families, people and families with sickle cell disease, and disseminates information about this disease to the people who need it. So
we're going to leave a link in the description below. So you can go and, like, if you wanted to find out more information about sickle cell, which there is no cure for it. And maybe there's a way that you would like to support, And as you can see, that's why we're wearing these t-shirts. You're probably going to see us wear more. Not the same one, but we're going to, And pretty much, this was important to us. We wanted to make sure we said that, So if you love the contents of this video, feel free to hit the like button. Subscribe.
Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
And I'm Dwayne.
I'm Alicia.
This has been Blackboard Gaming.
We will see you next time.